Let's get into some hard-hitting guy talk.
All right.
In your view, in your experience, can you articulate the difference between a father and a mother? Like, so one of the things Kristen and I talk about, which is to say, I'm like, I think this is a problem. We're just like, oh, I guess that is a problem. Is that there's this whole like genre of parenting books written by women for women. I'm like, well, that seems like problematic to me. That none of these books are written from a father's perspective.
Right.
And none of these books are written to an audience where it's a couple.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Talking about parenting.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I think those two things are real problems.
Yeah.
Like systemic, it's like systemic racism. It's like systemic exclusion of fatherhood.
Yeah.
And so I am interested in exploring, not because I know the answer, I'm not trying to lead you to an answer, I'm interested in like, what do people think about that? Like, can you identify intuitively and can you articulate like, yeah, I as a dad, because I'm a dad, fulfill a different role in the lives of my children than my wife, who is a mother, because she's a mother. Or you're like, no, Marcus, all that is like you're talking like a so
that's the problem, right?
This is 1,000 years ago,
yeah,
and now it's just parenting.
Yeah, but I mean, so this is where like some of that I think gets a little bit too much, like, and I think again maybe, and this is because we grew up in like at a similar time. I mean, I do still see traditional kind of like roles in my head, right? Yeah. And I,
so for people who might not know what you mean, what do you mean by that?
Like as the dad, I think I definitely do more disciplining than Kristen. They know that if I start, I'm going to count to 3 and you better, get up off the ground or whatever. They will, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kristen does it. They won't. Like, I'm more of a disciplinary person. Again, I think, Kristen's working. She's got her business and it's awesome. And she's doing really, really well at it. But for a while there, it was just me. And I felt like that was my role. Like, Kristen's going to stay home with the kids. Like, when we first had the babies for a little bit there. And I'm going to work. I'm not going to be Mr. Homemaker. In my head, that was just always what it was. And I think it really was probably in your head too. And this is part of like the whole experience, like the experiment of switching the role.
Yeah.
And it's different.
So when you guys went through those different transitions of who's doing the working, was it always you were making more, or was she sometimes making more? Like,
I was always making. There was a short time where she made more than me. Yeah. With one of the jobs she got in Boston, but then stuff happened or whatever. But for the majority of the time, and that's why she moved up to Boston. I was like, I have, the better job. That is, there's more trajectory or whatever. I'm making more, and okay, I'll move. And then it was, but there was like the one time she did push back. That was when when she got offered a job in California and she wanted to move to San Diego and stuff when we were in South Bay. And, she was like, this is a really great opportunity for me. It's something I really want to do. Yeah. But it didn't pay like all that much. Right. Yeah. And, so that was part of my pushback. It doesn't pay a lot. We're not going to be around family. Like, why are we going to move all the way out to California just to move back to Pennsylvania? A year later, 2 years later.
There were enough variables on the other side of the scale that one variable didn't outweigh it.
Yeah. So for the most part, it was always, but like that could have been an excuse too. Like I never really liked my job at the time. Like it was like you were saying, like Kristen like really likes what she does or whatever.
Like, I've never met anybody who's as passionate about their job as Kristen is passionate about her job.
Yeah, I mean, my job
off the charts.
My jobs have always been a job, and it's just blah. Like,
I mean, like, for the sake of
my employer, who I love, and very, very happy to have the position I have. Right. But like,
you're very satisfied and motivated. Yeah. But it's not like your life's passion.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Whereas Kristen's job is like her life's passion.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, our decisions always came down to money. But again, that's mainly me driving it because of me being a worrier of like, well, we're never gonna have enough money, and we're gonna be poor, and we're gonna live,
Kristen be like,
on
we'll
the
just
street.
live in a van.
Yeah, and she's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're gonna get a job out there, and you're probably gonna make the same amount of money, and like, it'll work out. And it's like, how do you know it's gonna work out? And she's like, I don't, but it does.
Oh, that is
like,
interesting though. Yeah.
So I feel like that's always been, and to Kristen's credit, she's usually given in on it. To her detriment, because she hasn't been able to do some of the stuff she's wanted to do, though she is running her business now and she's happy with that. Yeah. But and
she's providing a great service and benefit to our community.
Yeah, terrific.
Yeah.
But like I was always concerned if I leave my job, like what are we gonna do? Even when I wasn't even making it's not like I was making $500,000 or something like obscene, but like it was always like well, what are we gonna do? And that was always on my mind.